right? Barakatayawa, Barakatayawashai, Barakatayawa, Barakatayawashai, Barakatayahawa, Barakatayawashai. Call Halayim Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh, Bahashim Arachakodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone, taught us the truth. Honors and salutations to the elect, and to the men that died doing the work of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, could the shall rise first. To the men, women, and children that believe on the true name of the Father and the Son. The Father's name is Yahweh, he exists. The Son's name is Yahweh Shai, he is the deliverer. He's come and deliver us of this captivity that we're in. My name is Ma'aka Ben Gab Ben Yasharala, the Church of Philadelphia camp here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Once again, come back at you with another one. And as the title says, it's going to be all right this time. And what I mean by that, I've been jamming to this song that the brother sent me. And it's called All This Time. You know, all this time we've been on the earth, going into Second Ezra the 16th, no, Second Ezra the 6th chapter. When it said the earth is given for our sakes, right? It says, why don't we possess an inheritance? Matter of fact, let me grab that real quick. That's why I basically entitled it this, because all this time we've been on the planet, man, we had little glimpses of rulership, then we went right back into captivity. You know, but this time we're never going to go back into captivity again. All right, we're going to rule forever. We're going to live forever. That's what I mean by the title being it's going to be all right this time, man. You know, because we came from for the Egyptian, Babylonian, Assyrian, the Medes, the Persians. I always mess with my stuff, but anyway, but the Medes, the Persians. Um, you got the Romans, the Greeks, and here in America, man. All right, so from the beginning of time, we was always sent, you know, and from one captivity to another. But after this one, it's going to be all right this time. All right. And that's what I was saying. Here it goes. Second is the 6th chapter. Starting at verse 54, it says, and after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all. And the people also whom thou hast chosen. All this have I spoken before thee, O Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, because thou madest the world for our sakes. And yo, when you look at that, you gotta understand, like today, like I was going into history with a dude I know, you know, very, 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 very intelligent when it comes to history. You know, I'm trying to link up with him more to better my history. You know, but you know, speaking like the earth was made for our sakes, and you go into these books because you got this book talking about like the earth, basically it goes into um the different rulerships, and you can see it basically on paper, like the maps and everything. So it's like it gives you the visual, you know, the dates and everything. You line those dates up because Apostle Tahari said, man, you know, any brother teaches the same doctrine, they'll tell you, you know, you look in the secular history because we was there, all right, and you line it up with the scriptures and the dates and everything, and that's that. Hey, man, the Lord opens up your mind. That's how you get a lot of things, man. All right, well, this how you know it's going to be better this time. All right, let's go. Now, which brings me to here. We're going to go into Deuteronomy 28th chapter. All right, we're going to start at verse 1. Get into the blessings because when we get into our kingdom this time, man, the world without end, we never going to go off. All right. What I'm about to read, of course, you know, this is milk, you know, but sometimes you gotta return back to that milk, to get stronger. You know, this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, start at verse 1. I'm reading the NLT since I got that up. It says, if you fully obey Yahweh Shemel Shai, your power, and carefully keep all his commandments that I am giving you today, Yahweh Shemel Shai, your power, will set you high above all nations of the world. All right. And even like looking at that map today, it goes like when dudes talk, man, who's going in? It talks about the old world, like new world, because it was always new worlds, because you had this, like the Hittites, then you had the Chaldeans, and like different regions, man. When you really go into the history, uh, they didn't know about these people, so they was trying to discover things, like Cristobal Colon and all that, man. They say discover here, but people was there, and they get word and wind of things, you know. Hence where we are now. All right, that's why we was dragged all the way over here, but the Lord allowed us to be removed from those places. But if we listen to His laws, statutes, and commandments, just like in any captivity that we were in, all right, even to this day, you know, that's why the prophets is so heavy. Don't serve them idols, man. All right, you you hear serve captivity because the people went off, and you hear it too. You got examples of how to conduct yourself in this captivity. All right, check it out. Verse 2. This is an NLT. All right, Deuteronomy 28 and 2 in the NLT. It says, you will experience all these blessings if you obey Yahweh Shem Shai, your power. All right, and coming into our kingdom, the Lord is going to write on our inward parts. I just want to read all the blessings to let you know. As we always hear about the curses, 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 but our blessings is coming. The Lord is going to restore us back to those righteous people on top of our nations. All right, after this destruction comes. All right. It says, your towns and your fields will be blessed. All right, going into the kingdom forever. That's how it's going to go down, man. You ain't going to never have to worry about anything. All right. It says, your children and your crops will be blessed. The offspring of your herds and flocks will be blessed. So the Lord is blessing everything about you. All right. Coming into our kingdom. After all the kingdoms we went through, man, we've been through hell, man, as a nation, but we deserve it. All right. We all deserve it. And we all know why. Because of our disobedience. That's why I'm here in the blessings. Because these blessings are going to be back bestowed upon you. All right, as a whole nation. That's why after this, once after this captivity here where we in, I said it's going to be better this time. Because we there was willing to be a part of that number, but the prophets passed away, came back into another captivity to prophesy against that, came back into another captivity to prophesy against that. But this time they're going to get their rest after this captivity right here, known as Babylon, America. That's why you gotta do your history, like your secular history. You look at those regions and all the fighting that's going on. It's the same thing to this day, man. The same thing till this day. All right, which I want to get more deeper into the history, Lord's willing, before this place collapses completely, and then we're not able to do videos at all. All right, but check it out. Verse 4, Deuteronomy 28 and 4 in the NLT, it says, your children and your crops will be blessed. The offspring of your herds and flocks will be blessed. Your fruit baskets and breadboards will be blessed. Wherever you go and whatever you do, you will be blessed. Yahweh Shem Shai will conquer your enemies when they attack you. All right, which, it says when they attack you, they will attack you from one direction, but they will scatter from you in 7. And those things happen right there. And that verse 7 right there. All right. And it's proven when different armies try to come up against the Israelites in the wilderness. All right. And like Joshua in his time, when they was going fighting against all these different nations, going through the wilderness. Guess what? Yahweh Shem Shah had them. So their enemies came to attack them, and guess what? They end up running and fleeing because the Israelites got busy. All right? They got busy on them. All right? It says, verse 8, it says, Yahweh Shem Shah will guarantee a blessing on everything you do and will fill your storehouses with grain. You'll never be hungry. All right? It says, Yahweh Shem Shah, your power will bless you in the land he is giving you. All right? Which he promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our forefathers. So he's going to bless us, and he's preparing that land right now, which is already in the region of Saudi Arabia. If you look at the modern day Saudi Arabia, right? But if you look at the region on the map and everything, that's the old world, all right? Where a lot of things come from with the people over here in the new world, so to speak. That's where we at right now, in the new world. All right, because they always wanted control of everything, but they kept finding out, oh, it's more to this, it's more and more. So now you're at the end of the earth, which is here in America, Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, the daughter of the Chaldeans, because it's the same people, man, that's running stuff. It's nothing new under the sun, man. All right, like I said, all you got to do is look at secular history, man. All right, you'll figure it out. The Lord is dealing with you. Just read up. All right, it says, verse 9. It says, if you obey the commands of Yahweh Shem Shah, your power, and walk in his ways, Yahweh Shem Shah will establish you as his holy people, as he swore he would do. All right. So that's he swore that he was going to do these things for us, man. All right. He's going to establish us back this time and forevermore. All right. So this time is going to be all right. This time it's going to be better this time. All right. You're never going to have to go back into captivity after this time. All right. So this is what we're looking forward to. And this is his promise. All right. It's going to be all right this time. After this captivity, it's going to be all right. Starting with the elect. Okay. It says, then all the nations, verse 10, back in Deuteronomy 20 and 10, it says, then all nations of the world will see that you are a people claimed by Yahweh Shem Shah, and they will stand in awe of you. They're going to respect you. So they're going to know that he has his hand on you. Because they all have our captivity. Then they're going to look like, oh, that was them all the time. A lot of them know that. Putin knows that. A lot of men know that, man. But, now it's the time of exposure, revelation, revealing. But those people over in that region, even going we was going into like history today about the rise of Russia, man. Going back then, we covered about 3,000 years of history. All right, just tonight, which going to go back into some more things so we can bring more things out. All right, verse 11. It says, Yahweh Shem Shah will give you prosperity in the land he swore to your ancestors to give you blessings. You with many children to give you, blessing you with many children, numerous livestock, and abundance. Same thing he did with Job. Yahweh Shem Shah will send rain at the proper time for his rich treasury in the heavens and will bless all the work you do. You will lend to many nations, but you will never need to borrow from them. All right. It's coming up, man. The same way that we got to borrow from them because we go into the curses, we got to borrow from them. And they use usury to get their money, It says, if you listen to these commandments, to these commands of Yahweh Shem Shah, your power, that I am giving you today, and if you carefully obey them, Yahweh Shem Shah will make you the head and not the tail, and you will always be on top and never at the bottom. You must not turn away from any of the commands I am giving you today, nor follow after other gods and worship them. And that's one of our main downfalls in Jerusalem, Yasharallah, man, Israel. All right. That's the main problem. You serving those other guys. That's why he calls you whores, man. You know, you chasing other women. You know, you're supposed to chase Sophia. All right, which is our woman, man, our mother. You know, this is Jeremiah chapter 31, and this is how you know that it's going to be all right this time, man. Because this is what the Lord is going to do, and this is what He didn't do. Because see what we just read, which was the blessings. Then also you go from 15 all the way down to 68. That's all the curses. But the Lord know like how stiff necked our people are. He knows all that, and He knew that we wasn't going to keep the commandments, the law, statutes, and commandments. You know, uh, perfectly. So now here we go. Then we go into a new covenant, which is not established yet. This new covenant is coming to in the kingdom. All right. Which He's going to write everything on our inward parts so we'll never go off again. So right now those guys speak a new covenant. I haven't heard about them in a while, but that doctrine came and fell real fast. You know, doctrine of devils, the doctrine of the furthermore pull you off, so you don't you think that you already saved. It's like some Christian stuff, man. All right, which we even went into the rise of Christianity, the rise of Islam, all that stuff, man. Which hey, man, that's some lessons I got planned. Lord's willing to get to them. But this is Jeremiah chapter 31. I'm gonna just go right to it. Start at verse 30. All right, 30. I'm gonna read all the way down to 34. It says, but on one Salaki, it says Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 30. It says, but everyone shall die of his own iniquity. Every man that eateth the sour grape, his teeth shall be set on edge. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers, and the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break. All right, so that's what we were talking about earlier. That's how you know we're not in the new covenant. You know, the Lord, because we got a stony heart, which is flesh, hard-headed, stiff-neck. In the kingdom, you ain't gonna have no stiff-neck, no stiff-neck heart. Your mind, your life, because the Lord, like I said, watch. This how you gonna know that. This why you're not gonna have it. It says, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, saith Yahweh. All right. A husband, he was faithful. All right. To us. He's still faithful to us to this day. You know? It says, but it shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith Yahweh, I will put my law in their inward parts. That's what I was talking about, your mind, your life, so you won't be able to go off. All right, you'll never go off again. That's why it's going to be all right this time. You know, because you ain't never going to sin. Who wants to sin? Who wants to break the law? You know? Not a man that's right mind. When you know the consequences, you know? It says, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, their love, and will be their power, and they shall be my people. That's why it's going to be all right. Because every man going to know. Every man ain't going to have to go teaching his neighbor who the Lord is. You're going to know. Because it's going to be written on your mind, your inward parts. Your brain is on the inside of your body, ain't it? It's not sitting on the outside. You know? It says, and they shall teach no more. Dang. It says, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know Yahweh, for they shall all know me, from the least of them, unto the greatest of them, saith Yahweh, for I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. That's how you know it's going to be all right this time. Because we ain't going to be teaching, don't serve this God, don't serve that God. You're going to know better. All right? You ain't going to be no whore anymore, man. We're gonna bring you back to that virgin state. Because you have to be destroyed and be reprogrammed, be born again. Just the same way Esau, what they trying to do. They're trying to reprogram people. They got those educational camps, and they've been had them. All you gotta do is look at history, man. All right, so this is Isaiah chapter 11, start at verse 4. It says, "But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with iniquity for the meek of the earth." And what's the scripture say? The meek shall inherit the earth. Matter of fact, let's get that word meek in this text. All right. All right, let's bring this one out. Because we ain't talking about no goddamn Meek Mills either.
Strong's H 6035. Anav. Second entry. Anav.
So it's basically nah. It says poor, humble, afflicted, meek, poor, needy, poor and weak, poor, weak and afflicted, humble, lowly, meek. That's what the Lord is coming back for. Not these boastful dudes, These I'm this, I'm that. I got this, I got that. Nah, the Lord ain't coming back for that. Come back for the humble, the meek, the poor, the lowly. All right. Let's read it again. Isaiah 11 and 4. It says, "But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with iniquity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth." That fire, It says, "And with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked." It says, "And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins." The wolf also, and this is one of the major points, because if you live in like a wood area, then you got animals and all that. You got in the city, you got a lot of gun violence. You still have like wild nature comes through the cities too. Don't get it wrong. It's not really heard of, but the Lord said in these times, man, you're gonna have these beasts changing their habitats and everything because they're building up and doing all this crazy stuff. All right, but check this out. And this is a beautiful, beautiful thing, because I want to read this in the NLT as well. Verse 6, Isaiah 11 and 6, it says, "The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and the little child shall lead them." See that? It's going to be an Israelite child, not any other nation, just Israel. All right. It says, "And the cow and the bear shall feed their young ones, shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw with like the ox, and the sucking child shall play on the hole of the asp," which would be like a cobra, a poisonous snake. All right, it says, "And the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice's den," that's poisonous snakes. Put his hand there, nothing's going to happen to it. It says, they shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain," which is all Yasharallah at this point. It says, "For the earth shall be full of the knowledge of Yahweh as the waters cover the sea." All right, so the Lord is going to give us back our glory, man. Basically, that's what we're missing right now. We're missing our glory because we turn our back on him. We're missing him. Well, he always claimed us, but he turned his back on us. All right, from captivity to captivity. He always hit the reset button, But this time, the reset button, when he resets it, that's going to be the new normal. Yasharal is on top, and all you other nations is back in the places that was designed for you. All right. So all this time, all these captivities, the Lord is he's gonna make it right this time. All right. We're not gonna cry no more. We're not gonna be sad. It's gonna be constant joy. All right. The children going to be cool. Your flocks are going to be cool. You treat your slaves how you treat them. Because double to them what they done to us, man. Especially you Edomites. For that 1,000 years, you going to catch every bit of it. Every bit of it. All right. This is Isaiah chapter 40, verse 30. All right. KJV. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 30 says, even the youth shall faint. So like it says, even the youths. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon Yahweh shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. And that's going into what? Superpowers, man. That's what you're gonna have in the kingdom. We don't have those here. You know? Our superpower is faith. That's your superpower. That's faith. Because a lot of people don't have it. That's a superpower, man. Faith, belief, and Yahweh Shem Shai. It's another superpower. Yahweh Shem Shai. And you putting those over you. Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. And you have to have full trust and faith in them. That's your strength. You have to wait on them. That's where your superpowers come in at. You know, starting right now. You know, once you start learning this word and everything. And you see, you no match for what Esau has because that's his blessing. You know, we're no matches for that. How we combat that is through these words. Because the one that gave it to him is the one that's going to take it away. And that's Yahweh Shem outside. Bashem Harachaha Kodash. All right, and you go back in history and you see how many nations that he set up and took down. You know, with that statue in Daniel. It tells you all the way to right now, man. You know, there's nothing new under the sun. The Lord promised his son. All right, a world without end. So let's go ahead. Zechariah chapter 12. Salakia. Zechariah. Me. I was in Zephaniah. Forgive me. The prophet Zechariah. Where are you at? There we go. Zechariah chapter 12. Let's start at verse 8. The book of Zechariah chapter 12, verse 8. It says, "In that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them," see, and that's going into what we was just reading in Isaiah 40 and 30 and 31. All right, it says, "But they shall mount up with wings like eagles and fly and all that." That's superpowers. You're actually going to be able to fly, man. You know, right now we're not able to do it. How you fly now? Through these scriptures, man. You meditate. That's how you let it. That's how you meditate to elevate. You know, you meditate on who? Yahweh Shem outside. Bashem Harachaha Kodash. This is Zechariah chapter 12, verse 8. It says, "In that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem." Hey, Shalom, God. Yahweh Shem Shabrakatah. It says, "In that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble." So let's think about the most feeblest person that you know. That's an Israelite. You know? Like the brother I was with today, he don't know he's an Israelite now, but we talking, so going through history and all that. Like I say, he's a great, he's great at history, man. You know? And it's a question like he told me because we was looking at a map and he kept it on that page for this was the Lord. You know, you can't make nothing up, but I know it was over Yahweh Shem Shai by Shimon Chakadash. And he's like, man, if I was the Lord, if I had like a mind like that, he said, I would give these people basically said I would give them the rules. And I was like, huh? I said, what make you say that? And he was pointing at on the map it said Judah, you know. I was like, what make you say that? He's like, cause look at it. He's like, it's in the center of everything. So like, yo, that's how we know that we the nucleus, man. We the center of attraction. We the center of the earth, man. They try to knock us off, you know, and they did that. They removed us from where we belong. but that was all because of us. But he said, look, he said it sits in the middle. And then we was looking at the map. He's like, look at everybody around him. He's like, they're surrounding him. And they the ones that always try to attack him. I said, damn. I was like, yo, call Lam Yabashim outside, Bashim Chakwadas. You know? Because just for him, like, so that's how I know the Lord is dealing with him. You know? And he told me his name. I ain't going to say his name on here, you know, but his name means a lot. Believe that. I know his last name means shepherd. Then he got two names of very important people in Yasharala. I'm going to just put it that way. Leaders. All right. I'll say that without saying his name. Okay. But keep going. I'm going to go back. Zechariah chapter 12, verse 8. It says, in that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble. Matter of fact, let's get that word feeble real quick. All right. Let's real quick. Where we at? Feeble.
Strong's H3782. Kashal.
Which is Kashal. In the Hebrew it says to stumble, stagger, totter, to stumble, totter, to stumble. To be tottering, be feeble. To cause to stumble, bring injury, to ruin, to overthrow, to make feeble, make weak, to be made to stumble, bereave. So a person, you know, basically that's you say weak physically. I'm gonna say mentally, because you gotta be strong to deal with this word. All right, it says, and he that is feeble among them, at that day shall be as David, the Wad, and the house of the Wad David shall be as the Most High, because it tells you in the scriptures and the songs it says, you're gods. It says you shall be like as the Most High, as the angel of Yahweh before them. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem, Yasharal. You know? So, hey, man, this time the Lord himself, he always did it, you know, took down nations, built them up and everything. But this time, we're never going back into captivity, man. So that's called Lam La Yahabashim Yamshah Bashim Chakodash in itself. All right, that's why I entitled it, because listen to that song. It says, all this time, it's going to be all right this time. Because all these captivities that we've been through, and we had to come back to another captivity, come back to another captivity, and still maintain the same integrity, you know, and keep the words, because your words follow you, your works follow you, man. You know, as long as you're speaking the words of Yahweh, Shai, Bashim, Chakwadas, your works are going to follow you, man. All right. This is the last time that we're going to prophesy against a wicked kingdom. It's the last prophecies against a wicked kingdom, because the kingdom to come is righteous. All right. Forever ruling, forever kingdom. All right. Matter of fact, wow. Isaiah, there it goes right here. You just said Isaiah 45:17. All right. So Isaiah chapter 45, verse 17, it says, let's start at verse 15. It says, verily thou art a power that hidest thyself, O power of Israel, the Savior. They shall be ashamed and also confounded, all of them. They shall go to confusion together that are makers of idols. It says, but Israel shall be saved, and Yahweh with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. See that? A world without end. And whose world is that? That's Yahweh's kingdom, Yahweh's kingdom. All right, so let's go ahead. In Ephesians, I'm ended on this one. Ephesians chapter 3, Lord's willing is edifying. It's really an exhortation to keep brothers up, man, because because you got dudes teaching that, oh yeah, we're going to come into power and then we're going to go back out of power. No, that's never going to happen. When we come into power, that's it. We're going to stay in power. All right. This is Ephesians chapter 3. Let's start at verse 20. All right, this is Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20. It says, "Now unto them that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. Unto him be glory in the church of Hamashiach Salak, into the church by Hamashiach Yahushua throughout all ages." See that? Throughout all ages, world without end, so be it. I'm going to grab that in the NLT. It says throughout all ages. So it's never going to stop, man. You know, like Bad Boys talking that, Puffy's talking that BS, thought I told you that we won't stop. Well, yeah, the Lord ain't never going to stop, man. You know, you see his world came to an end. But Yahushua's world is never going to end, man. You know? This is Ephesians chapter 3 and verse 20 in the NLT. It says, "Now all glory to the Most High, who is able through his mighty power at work within us to accomplish infinitely more than we might ask or think." It says, glory to him in the church and in Hamashiach Yahushua through all generations forever and ever. So be it. You know, so that's going to be our world. It's never going to end, man. You know, like that song. I forget that song, man. But it's never going to stop, man. It's never going to end. You know, it's going to be better this time. It's going to be all right this time. After all this time, after all this captivity, this time right here, you're never going back. All right. So you praise the Lord for that. Starting with the elect. All right. Because this message is for the elect first. And the rest of Israel, the 1/3, they listen to the elect. And the 2/3, you have to come back in the kingdom, man. So the Lord's will, this was edifying. You got something out of it. It made sense. So with that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem HaRachakodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. To the next lesson, I'm saying Mawafa Baba Ball, Kwame Asherala. Shalom.